Big wave surfers devote their lives to hunting out and surfing some of the most challenging waves in the world. From giant walls of water that break miles out to sea to 50 feet beach breaks, big wave surfing has no shortage of variety to challenge its contenders. Let's look at our definitive list of the biggest waves in the world, packed with giant waves and terrifying slabs that can humble even the most experienced surfers. Before going into the details of the surfer's dream waves, take a second and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Number 1. Nazare, Portugal. On the coastline outside of Nazare lies the beach break, Praia do Norte. During small swells, this beach break produces shallow barreling waves, but with large lows arriving from September to March, it's only a matter of time before Nazare starts to produce gigantic surfable waves. In 2013, Brazilian surfer Carlos Burrell rode a wave estimated to be over 100 feet tall. It's mind-boggling to imagine the sheer power and force of such a wave. The oceanography around Praia do Norte is very unique, with the large Nazare North Canyon funneling incoming swell into this amazing big wave spot and placing it firmly as one of the biggest waves in the world. All this magic came together in 2022 for Sebastian Streitner, who broke the world record for the largest wave ever surfed at a whopping 26.21 meters or 86 feet in height. Head over to Nazare Waves to find out more about this iconic surf spot and the surfers and community that make it so special. Number 2. Teahupoo, French Polynesia. Teahupoo, often referred to as the end of the road, is a reef pass in Tahiti, French Polynesia. While it may not be the biggest wave in the world, it makes it up for it with its brutal, raw power. Swell arrives from very deep water before unloading onto Teahupoo's shallow coral reef with a ferocity that's truly terrifying to watch. In 2011, Tahitian surfer Raymana van Bastelaar rode a wave that seemed to defy gravity. The sheer size and power of this wave were beyond comprehension. It's moments like these that remind us of the incredible forces of nature. A powerful left curls across the shallow reef before exploding into as little as 4 feet of water, leaving surfers with seconds to paddle and catch waves before they get eaten up by the approaching barrel. The wave was first surfed way back in 1985 by Tahitian Thierry Vernana, and since then surfers from all over the world have made the pilgrimage to surf this iconic wave. The reef pass at Teahupoo provides the perfect viewing spot for spectators on boats and jet skis, with a view directly into the death-defying tubes. Number 3. Mavericks, California. Mavericks is a big wave surf spot located just outside of Pillar Point Harbor, not far from the small town of Half Moon Bay. Surfers like Pete Mell and Grant Twiggy Baker were instrumental in bringing this wave into the headlights of the surfing media. A predominant right-hander with the occasional left, this wave is not for the faint-hearted with its steep drops and massive waves. In 2010, an incredible ride by surfer Chris Burtish left us all in awe. He fearlessly took on a massive wave, navigating its treacherous barrels with skill and precision. The wave played host to the Titans of Mavericks Big Wave Surfing Invitational from 1999 to 2016, before the organization went bankrupt due to a combination of little to no funding and some questionable business decisions. Sadly, Mavericks is responsible for the death of some of the surfing world's greats, including Mark Few in 1994 and Cyan Milosky in 2011. Number 4. Cortes Bank, California. Cortes Bank is an awe-inspiring big wave surf spot in the Pacific Ocean, located 110 miles offshore from the southern Californian coast. It's a large island that rarely breaks the ocean's surface at low tide. For most of the time, the highest part of Cortes Bank, Bishop Rock, sits only 6 feet below the water, creating a rare offshore reef. Only accessible by boat, this huge ranging lineup is exposed to swell and wind from all directions, so scoring here requires careful planning and an eagle eye on the wave charts. When everything comes together, massive right-handers open up for any brave waterman willing to take them on. Most notable of these excursions was in 2001, when Project Neptune, comprised of surfers Mike Parsons, Brad Gerlach, Ken Collins, and Peter Mell, all headed out to the break with jet skis and boats. Mike Parsons managed to snag a 65-feet bomb, which was the biggest wave ridden in the United States at the time. It wasn't until 7 years later that Mike would exceed this by hurling himself down a 75-feet wave at Cortes Bank and earning himself the Guinness World Record for the biggest wave ever surfed. Number 5. Punta de Lobos, Chile. Punta de Lobos is a left-hand point break that works all the way from 3 feet to 30 feet. Pro surfer Ramon Navarro calls this wave home, and we really can't blame him. Breaking just outside of 2 rock pillars, it makes for quite the lineup, and the waves easily match the surroundings. On smaller days, Punta de Lobos is a fast-barreling left which opens up into a long wall that's perfect for turns and maneuvers. As the swell rises, the break pushes further back out to sea with the takeoff zone positioned dangerously close to rocks in front of you. Punta de Lobos is considered to be one of Chile's best waves. Its varied lineup is complemented by the fact it's one of the few surf spots where you can escape the dreaded southwesterly winds that blow almost daily in this area. Number 6. Mullaghmore Head, Ireland. No list of the biggest waves in the world would be complete without this Irish monster. Mullaghmore Head rarely breaks, but when it does, it produces slaving takeoffs followed by death-defying drops and epic rides. Mullaghmore is very exposed to any swell rolling in from the North Atlantic, but this also leaves it exposed to the wind, making finding a surfable window quite the art. Local and traveling big wave surfers will carefully scour the charts looking for any potential respite in storms that might give them the small chance they need. When it arrives, massive powerful lefts break across a boulder bottom, with treacherous cliffs directly in front of their takeoff spot. Despite these challenges, some of Ireland's best surfers regularly head here to try and tame Mullaghmore's angry swells. Number 7. Magaret River, Western Australia. Magaret River may well be WA's most famous wave. A high-performance right-hander plays host to the annual WSL World Tour every year. Even though it works on small swells, Magaret River is famed for the large rolling chunks of water that come straight out of the deep before unloading on the reef. Main break plays host to most of the surfing with the option of going right or left. The left-hander is a rolling wall that breaks into deep water, making it a bit more approachable than the right, which can close out onto dry rock at the end of the wave. Number 8. Belharra, France. Belharra is a reef break near a small fishing town called Saint-Jean-de-Luz, nestled in the north of the Basque Country. First surfed in the early 90s, Belharra quickly solidified itself as one of Europe's go-to spots for big wave surfers. In 2018, French surfer Justine Dupont caught one of the most massive waves ever recorded by a woman. Scaling heights of over 60 feet, this wave showcased the indomitable spirit of female surfers pushing the limits. The wave is created by an underwater plateau covered by seagrass. When swell and wind conditions align, this plateau acts as the perfect reef for large incoming swells. Located 2.5 kilometers offshore, it's best surfed with a boat and jet ski support over 30 feet. Below this, you'll regularly see a lineup of surfers on guns just waiting to paddle into the next set of waves. Number 9. Shipsterns Bluff, Tasmania. This mutant of a wave sits in a very isolated part of Tasmania, making it even more terrifying than it already is. Breaking in front of a gigantic cliff, this reef breaks slabs to create massive mutant waves, not for the faint-hearted. While it may not rival some of the biggest waves in the world on this list, it more than makes up for it with power. The shape of the reef creates steps in the waves that surfers need to navigate as they try to escape the jaws of the barrel behind them. On large days, these steps can turn into 6-foot airdrops mid-wave, making for quite the spectacle. Number 10. The Right, Western Australia. The Right is a giant slaving barrel 1.6 kilometers out to sea. It's an unforgiving gladiatorial arena of broken boards and near impossible rides. First surfed back in 2007 by a group of bodyboarders, the Right quickly grew in infamy. Since then, it's been surfed by many of the world's top big wave surfers, with notable standouts like Taj Burrow, Kelly Slater, and Mark Matthews. In 2017, Australian surfer Mark Matthews tackled one of the most monstrous waves ever seen at the Right, showcasing incredible skill and bravery. The waves aren't the only danger here either. You'll be sharing the ocean with some of the biggest sharks in the world, most notably the great white. Cruise over to our guide on surfing and sharks for a closer look at the apex predators we share our oceans with. Well, folks, that concludes our countdown of the top 10 biggest waves you would believe if not on video. We hope you enjoyed this thrilling ride and were left in awe, just like we were. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with all our future adventures. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, keep riding the waves of excitement and exploring the extraordinary.